As far as rhetorical situations go, the audience of rap music in the 90s falls under a very specific spectrum. It is a form of music that relies heavily on expression, and in the 1990s that specific expression was conveyed with attitude. At the time, the use of foul language and angrily recorded rap songs were obscene to the majority of the population, but to those who enjoyed the genre, it was the cursing, violence, and attitude that really sold. During the 1990s, it was someone's job to depict these motives and ideals of these rappers in the artwork for the covers of their singles and albums, in a way that told you what the rapper was all about, their demeanor, and their attitude toward the world, without yet listening to one of their songs. And it seems the graphic designers of the time concocted a strict formula for these album covers that created an eye-catching and effective text for selling records. The gestural mode may be the most critical part of the formula that so many graphic designers for these rap artists use so often. The artist whose album it is usually front and center on the cover, usually the focal point. But the artist has a specific set of looks used to convey this feeling of toughness. The artist is usually posing looking directly at the camera, with their mouth shut, giving a kind of glare at the audience. You can look as hard as you want, but it may be very difficult to track down an album cover from this time depicting a rapper smiling at the camera or audience. That is just simply not the way of the 1990s, and if a rapper were smiling, then it wouldn't do a great job of depicting the gritty sounds and violent lyrics. But rather quite the opposite, and that is where the importance of the gestural mode and giving off the expression of toughness come into play. Along with the gestural mode, the spatial mode is also incredibly important in the design process of these album covers. Today, album covers use a different approach than those of the 1990s. Today they are more photo-oriented and oftentimes conceptual. And it's not an uncommon trend to display either no artist name or no text entirely. The album covers of the 90s incorporated the use of text to their advantage, using it as a spatial mode to deliver emphasis to different parts of the artwork. Oftentimes, the artist name will be the biggest text on the screen, and the album title is almost always significantly smaller and also below, showing the importance of the name of the artist first, giving it the initial emphasis, and then the title. These graphic designers also used the placement of the text in relation to the photo of the artist to give the album artwork rhythm as well as a path for your eyes to follow. Oftentimes you will notice the portrait of the artist first, because the location of the artist's name and album title will be on opposite sides of the photo, giving us an implied frame, adding emphasis to the portrait through the proximity of the titles and photos. Lastly, we get to the visual mode. This mode can clearly be seen in all of my examples of 90s rap album artworks, may it be through the colors used, the textures of the fonts, or the elements seen in the background. In most cases, the artist name, which I mentioned is typically the largest text on the artwork, is a color that really sticks out from the rest of the colors on the cover, and usually a different color from that of the album title or any other text on the artwork. This is used to give the artist name contrast between the background of the artwork as well as the rest of the text displayed. And this effect of contrast is oftentimes complementing the emphasis on certain elements of the text as well. Oftentimes, the visual mode comes into play by using photographs or objects in the background of the album artwork to give context to the album as well as the rapper.